The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. It's Rod Eccles.
And good morning to you. It is a Friday.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, indeed. It is Friday, August number 25 in the year of our Lord 2017. And as you know, we like to take Friday a little bit lighter as we slide on into the weekend. We talk about just about anything under the sun. Just keep it clean, please. The call-in hotline is 603-835-3226. Look forward to speaking with you. Got a bunch of stuff on the plate today on the lighter side. Some of it has to do with the hurricane. You won't believe the liberals going absolutely ape you-know-what already over the response out there in Texas land. It's getting kind of ridiculous. But it is what it is. So welcome to Friday. Yes, indeed. To liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. I am here and ready for you. By the way, if you like following people on social media, Twitter, Facebook, well, I'm there, so you can give me a follow if you like. You don't have to. I never try to. I never beg for people to do stuff like that. But I tweet some good stuff. I get into some little Twitter kerfuffles every once in a while with a couple of liberals. They always try to come back, but the problem with Twitter is I think I mentioned this yesterday, is that they make it too easy. They're not making it tough enough for me to really get engaged with them. So I get engaged with liberals a lot less lately because it's not fun anymore. They make it too easy to tweak them, as it were. But speaking of tweaking, the other day a person came to me here. They're like, Rod, we need you to run for office. I'm like, again? And he started going down the list. He's like, taxes keep going up. Services are not getting any better. Our roads, I know Joe Kincannon is really big about New York City and the sidewalk issue, road issue, which is really important because, look, if your city can't take care of something as simple as sidewalks and roads, it's something that they're really tasked to do. It's part of public safety. If they can't do that, there's a huge problem within your municipal government. Now, Concord, the state capital of New Hampshire, doesn't actually have a mayor. Just a city council basically runs everything, and I think it has a city manager, but it doesn't have a mayor, which I think is very odd. But okay, this is the way they've run the city for a couple of centuries now, I guess. I don't know. When was Concord incorporated? It was a while ago. In any case, and this poor taxpayer is, well, he was complaining that people don't fully understand anymore. That you get a few people who get elected, and they say they want to help, and then they get in there, even on a local level, and they forget why they are there, or they just have one major issue. And I was thinking, it's really, I don't think I'm ready to run. I don't think I've been given the go ahead by God. I don't think it's within me. Now, last night, and I bring this up because last night, now I don't normally remember dreams, and I didn't have anything odd to eat or drink before going to bed. It was just a normal night. Dinner was, I've eaten sausage and peppers, turkey sausage and peppers a lot of times before, so that was what I had for dinner. But I had the strangest dream that lasted for at least half the night. And here's the dream. Now, it makes me wonder why. But it brings back the conversation I had with the gentleman who owns property in Concord. And he's having an issue with his taxes constantly going up. Now, I don't know where the house was, but I owned a fairly large historical type of house here in New England. Old farmhouse style type of thing, built 1800 something, I guess. I don't know. But it was next to, I had neighbors on one side, and the other side it was wooded property that belonged to the city and the state. And the city, now I'm guessing Concord. I don't know. I didn't get to see that, understand where I was living. But the city decided that they needed to build a road on that piece of property. Now, I was against building the road. Now, at first, they wanted to build an elaborate type of road, and they wanted to build a boulevard, and it would be the only road of its type in the city. I said that's just ridiculous. So we fought it in City Hall, and they agreed to make just a regular road, and that they would move it farther away from my property. So then, all of a sudden, they're starting to construct the road. Now, this is how I know this is really kind of dangerous, because I'm married. Yes. And my wife wakes me up out of a sound sleep. Now, I don't even know why it would be a weekend sleep, I guess. But, yeah, I'm sleeping soundly. She wakes me up. She's frantic. I go outside, and lo and behold, they're building the road on part of my property. In other words, they've moved the road from the opposite side of the state property to my side of the state property and onto my property. And there were gentlemen who, I had a over 100-year-old oak tree in the yard. They cut it down for the road. Not only was it on my property, they cut it down, but they took the tree away. And for some reason I was using wood to heat my home or something like that. And there was a very large wood pile with some large stumps. And they took that. And they're building this road. And I'm freaking out and having, I don't know how long this dream lasted, but I'm freaking out about this. And I have these construction workers milling about on my property. So I make a couple of quick phone calls, and before I know it, somehow, I don't know how I did it, but somehow, some way, I had the ACLU. I had some environmentalist wacko group. I had myself and another group, city taxpayers. We all, within the same day, we all combined, went to court, got an immediate injunction to stop the construction of the road. Now, the funny thing is that the construction company wouldn't stop with the court order. And so we go to the court and we go over to the police department. And as we come back to my property from the court and police department after the injunction so we can bring the cops back, next thing I know, they're putting a manhole cover in a drainage ditch where my wood shed for my fireplace wood used to be. Yeah, they took that down. So next thing I know, I'm going into my house. I'm grabbing my shotgun. I said, that's it. These people are not going to do this. We'd already been over this. We went through a year and a half of this or whatever it was to get the road approved and put where it was supposed to be. And now it's nowhere it's supposed to be. And I got people milling about, taking over my property, putting a road on my property without my permission, taking my valuable wood and trees, taking away my property, tearing down my buildings. Now, this is going to stop right. And I got an injunction and they won't stop work. So I go out with my shotgun. And I said, the next person, and they have equipment. Some equipment on my property. So then you got 30 seconds to get off my property, or I'm going to start shooting and trespassing. And don't worry, the cops are on their way and they agree with me. And they said, well, we got to move our equipment. I said, the first person who touches that, it's now mine, it's on my property, is going to get shot. That's what I had to do to shut it down. We had to bring in the police to make sure that they stopped construction on the entire road because evidently a piece of paper from a judge was no. So we ended up suing the city, the construction company, for, just to make a statement for $100 million. That got everybody's attention finally because nobody was paying attention before. So that got everybody's attention, and it got the news. It was regional news for a week. How this crazy black guy in New England was suing the city and a construction company and the state for $100 million over a road. The stress was incredible. I woke up in a sweat. And I'm thinking to myself, what does that kind of dream mean? Now, where I live, they can't build a road next door to me. Currently, I don't have any sights on buying any houses where state-owned land is right next to me or anything. But where I currently live, there's no place for them to put a road. There's no state property. It's all private property. So I don't know what that means. If you're one of those dream people who can interpret dreams, then maybe you can call up and tell me what that's supposed to mean. I don't have a lot of stress in my life. I don't have a desire to run for public office or achieve power in such a way. Does it have anything to do with the woman who recently won the lotto for $780 million or something stupid, $48 million? I don't know. After taxes, she's taking a lump sum, and after taxes, she's going to get well over $300 million. I love it when, by the way, speaking of the lotto, I love it when the news was reporting this, saying that, she was going to take the lump sum, and it was going to be like $420 or $450 million was what she was going to get, and she was going to be wealthier than even Beyonce. The reality is, no, she wasn't going to get $400 some odd million. There were taxes that had to be taken out. And believe me, once she gets the money after taxes, she's going to pay even more taxes come April 15th. So she's not going to end up with $328 whatever it was $million. She's not going to end up with that. But that's what the check that she's going to get. And she lives out in Chicopee, Springfield, Massachusetts, out in the western part of the state. And she quit her job right there that day when she found out. Now, the odd thing about this person is it's a woman. She's in her early 50s. And she just acted like it was no big deal. Yeah, chomping on gum. During the press conference, I said, I can't believe I won. I won. Big deal. Lady, you just won over $700 and some odd million dollar lottery. You're going to get over $300 million deposited in your bank account within the next 30 days. And you came out so fast. Now, of course, everybody always asks, do you have plans for the money? And, she says, well, other than, sending my kids to college or buying a car and paying off the house or something stupid like that. No plans. Okay. Usually when people win a lump sum like that, they take a little bit of time by getting their financial house in order, hiring the lawyers and the accountants to make sure that that kind of money that they don't lose. Because there have been so many lotto winners that have lost their shirts and have gone bankrupt within 7 to 10 years after winning $1 million or more. But she lives she's in Massachusetts. She was a nurse at a Chicopee in Springfield, Mass. hospital. She quit the day she found out she won. I predict nothing good is going to come out of that money for her, because I don't think she's taking it seriously. But hey, I don't know what her politics are, but from the outside looking in, she seems like an entitled liberal. Just saying. Well, it's entirely possible coming from the western part of Massachusetts. Which tends to be a little bit more conservative, but not much more than the eastern part of Mass. So, I don't know, does that have something to do with my dream in suing the state and the city and the construction company for $100 million for putting the road on my property that I don't even own yet, at least anyway? I don't know what that dream means. Maybe I should play the lotto. Is that what my dream is telling me? I'm going to win $100 million? I better get some tickets.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shave brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Alvanche gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Six 603-835-3226. Now, I must add that the dream that I had was a little bit stranger, considering I was married to the woman who is my ex-wife. I was still married to her, so that adds a little bit of strangeness. And no, I do not pine for my ex at all. I know every once in a while my mother thinks that I do, and I'm like, no, not at all. But I do believe that, sometimes dreams can tell you things. I don't think every dream has an interpretation, but I think God is pretty clear that He's given mankind. He states it in the Bible that He's given men and women dreams and visions, and that those are mentioned in the Bible. So there's nothing satanic about it, or evil. Yeah, but I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. Any case, we have everybody flipping out over this hurricane. Yeah, Hurricane, was it Harvey? Well, it appears that Harvey has come aboard or come aground in Texas. Everybody's, 130 miles per hour, man. It's going to be awful. The first major hurricane to hit the 148 months and 12 years, and Trump is already, there are people out there saying Trump has already failed. Hurricane hasn't even smacked into Texas yet, and Trump has already failed in his response. Do you think that anybody on the left is going to give Trump praise for whatever he does, no matter how perfect? He could have the perfect response, the best response of any president of a major hurricane, and they're still going to say he failed. Look, I know Trump knows this. The president knows this, absolutely. There's nothing he can do to squash these liberal critics, and he's not even going to try. So, from what I have seen, the speed of the Hurricane Harvey, this massive 130 mile per hour winds, has barely been able to get up to 110. Now, what is that? A Category 3? So it's not nothing to sneeze at. It's significant, and it's bringing a wall of water with it, obviously, and it's drenching parts of Texas along the Gulf. But it's the first hurricane in 12 years to strike the mainland, and liberals and weather nuts and they're freaking out. This could be marking the beginning of a return to massive hurricanes that hit the United States. They're looking forward to these disasters happening to people just so they can put the president on the spot. Do you folks realize how sick that is? They're out there hoping for these hurricanes to hit, and for them to be very, very bad. So all the leftists can be out there and judge the president on how bad his response is to this. I'm not making this up. This is in the news, folks. This is how crazy these people are. This is how desperate they are to get anything on the Donald. If people on the right would have reacted and acted this way towards Barack Hussein Obama, what would happen? Oh yeah, We did sort of question him a little bit, and we were called racist for doing it, or at least white people were.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
Okay, so let's get into some of this hurricane stuff, shall we? Was it Harvey? Is the hurricane's name this time around? I mean, this is just getting. It is so bad out there, folks. The left is looking for anything that they could possibly criticize the president on. And they're going to jump on it and criticize it. Now, Salon.com, I know Salon.com is one of the filthiest leftist ragmags out there. I get it. But here's the problem. The Salon is a representative of the left. It is. It's a mirror of the left. And the left is going to, they're leading the way of what the left is going to do when it comes to the Trump administration response to this hurricane. And it doesn't matter how the president acts or reacts to it. Doesn't matter what he does, what he did leading up to it. Doesn't matter what he does during it. It doesn't matter what he does after the aftermath and the skies clear up and the sun's shining again. It isn't going to matter. They are just going to berate him, belittle him, and, they're going to claim that, oh yeah, this is going to bring him down finally. His approval numbers are going to go crashing now because of, his poor response. And you're thinking, well, they can't do that already. Oh, really? But they can, because Salon.com has a piece that condemns and gives the president a failing mark already. In fact, the title of the piece is Trump Just Flunked His First National Disaster Test. Hurricane Harvey is predicted to be the first major storm in over a decade, and Trump just tweeted a useless campaign ad. He tweeted it. Well, evidently, the video that goes along with the tweet didn't meet up to Salon.com standard, but the tweet says thus: as hashtag Hurricane Harvey intensifies, remember to hashtag plan ahead. Hurricanes.gov, ready.gov, and FEMA.gov. And they all are links to government pages to help people plan and prepare for a major disaster like a hurricane. But Salon doesn't even acknowledge that part. They take issue with the video. This is, according to the White House, Trump was briefed on the government's hurricane preparation efforts earlier this month, but his campaign-style commercial, fitted with a dramatic soundtrack, failed to convey any of that information to worried residents in the storm's path. His tweet did not include basic information like who is in danger, how to be prepared, or what the government is doing to prepare. How are you going to put all of that in a tweet? You can't put all that in a tweet. Besides, he did. He gave people links to hurricanes.gov, ready.gov, and FEMA.gov. Is Salon upset because the president in the video portion of his tweet didn't tell people exactly what to do? I mean, yes, that's their problem. The video doesn't have the president sitting in the Oval Office, dishing out some boring information. He actually uses something that gets people's attention. Well, there's dramatic music. Well, music and video, movies, we all know. Have you ever done the experiment where they've taken music out of a movie scene? It doesn't work. The scene does not work on film. It may work on a live stage, but it doesn't work in film. This is why they add music, and the kind of music that they add to certain scenes in movies and TV shows is highly important. So he's got dramatic music. Why? It gets people's attention. It puts them in the dramatic phase or stage to where they pay attention to what's going on, and the president gives all the information that they need. But he doesn't tell them in the video, you got to do this, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. I mean, that is the reason for giving the president a flunking grade. Before the storm even hits. But why? Why? Because the president didn't say, take shelter? Is that it? Does the left think that people are so... Well, there are some stupid people out there. But does the left think that in general, in toto, that the American people are so stupid that they're just going to sit there bewildered until somebody tells them to take shelter? Until somebody tells them to take shelter, they're not going to know. I can just see it now. Hey, Martha, president didn't tell us to do anything. What are we going to do with this hurricane coming down? I don't know, Fred. I just don't know. We should sit here in front of the TV and the radio and wait for them to tell us to do something. Well, Martha, I mean, president didn't say anything. He just put out a little tweet and told us to go to hurricanes.gov. And he told us to go to ready.gov and FEMA.gov. I guess, Fred, that means we should go to the grocery store and buy up all the water. Because otherwise, I don't know what we should do. That is how the left thinks people act and react. That's how dumb they think everybody is. Because they think, evidently, I guess Salon thinks the president has an awful lot of power. Because if the president would have said, evacuate and leave, I think you should evacuate and leave. Okay, Martha, we got to get going. You're right, Fred. President just said for us to leave, so we better get going. When does that ever work? That doesn't work. You get government officials tell people to leave all the time, and people still don't leave. Hell, you get government officials. You know, do you realize that they are being harsher on President Trump before the hurricane even hits than they were on who was the governor of Louisiana at the time? I forget her name. And Mayor Nagin of New Orleans. Do you realize that they're harder on the president, and the storm hasn't even hit yet at this particular point in time, on Trump, than they were in the aftermath of Nagin? How ridiculous is it? Well, because they weren't harsh on Nagin, because they gave George W. Bush all the blame, right? Even after all the investigations were done and found out that the governor failed in her duties and responsibilities, and Nagin didn't fail to. Well, we don't want school buses; we want coaches to get these people out of here. And then through all the, it wasn't the president who threw them in the Silver Dome under those deplorable conditions. It was Nagin and the governor. But Bush gets it. He hasn't even gone down there yet, man. Well, what's he going to do? Because the left is all about visuals. Oh, the president flew over the aftermath scene today. It was when he was devastated. Why is he going to fly over it? What's he going to do? I don't believe in symbolism, but the left is so full of symbolism that nothing real ever gets done. So it gets to the point now where the left is saying, if you do not tell people exactly what to do in a boring video, don't add music to get people's attention. Just be boring as hell. Be presidential. And that's a failure? I mean, how many times have hurricanes hit the United States? Well, I don't know the exact number, but a lot over the past 200 and some odd years, right? And people still do not know how to prepare and respond? How many times do our governments, the federal and state and local governments, issue warnings and tell people, well, now's the time to get out. If you're going to leave, you probably should leave, and people don't? Every time a hurricane, it doesn't even matter. Well, it's not just the United States, by the way. It's everywhere hurricanes ever go. I mean, what happens? People die because of what? They don't listen to their governments. They don't pay attention. They don't do what they should know to do. And yet somehow the government leaders always get blamed for it because their response is, what? Why? Look, you got the news on constantly telling you what the hurricane is doing and what a hurricane is doing and where it's possibly going, how strong it's possibly going to be. And usually when it's coming to the United States, they always overemphasize the danger of it. The reality is, looking at we haven't had a major hurricane hit the mainland USA in over a decade, but looking back on all the hurricanes that since I've been alive that this country's had, and they've been given advance warnings, 90% of them, they have over-dramatized the power of the hurricane. Now, there have been a couple that matched up to the hype. Yeah, Andrew and Katrina come to mind. But the problem is that the left and the lamestream media hype stuff up so bad and so much that people finally, they come to the realization, well, they don't believe it. So when they tell them this is going to be bad, 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 and then we get that up here in the Northeast all the time. Snowstorms. Oh, this is going to be a bad nor'easter. It's going to dump 3 feet of snow, and we get 1 or 2 inches. Well, people stop believing the horror that is about to befall them. Well, we just want people to be prepared. No, you've trained them not to believe you. Now, I heard that this was going to be 130 miles per hour plus hurricane coming in, and now we're looking at the stats, and it's like 110. Well, it's better to be over-prepared. The problem is if you're not accurate and you keep crying wolf, what happens? People are eventually not going to believe you. And that's exactly what happened in Katrina, folks. That's exactly what happened to Katrina. I mean, they hyped this storm, they hyped it, and nobody believed it. That's why so many people, not just in New Orleans, got caught with their pants down. And so now you got Salon, who's upset with the president because he isn't hyping this storm, or didn't hype it. I mean, I got story after story here. Hurricane Harvey poised to unleash flooding disaster on Texas into early next week. Oh yeah, it's going to be so terrible. Harvey continues to gather strength, and they're predicting that it's going to be. Now the predictors are it's going to be a category 3 by the time it hits land. Now the wonderful thing is about all these predictions. You see some of these maps, they tell you. It's going to be category 2, then it's going to strengthen the category 3. It's going to be category 3 when it gets over here. And after that, they don't tell you what category it falls off to. It goes from 3 to not a hurricane. Just like that, I guess. Just story after story of hype. You know what this is? The reason why we get so much hype on this kind of stuff is simply because they want to blame man-made global climate change on it. So they got to hype it with the hopes that that their hype comes true. This is like this Mayweather-McGregor fight. What is it, taking place tomorrow night? I mean, the hype is ridiculous. No, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not interested. I mean, what McGregor's like? He's the MMA champ in the same weight class that Mayweather is in boxing. But McGregor can't kick, can't use his kicks. He can't use his ground game. What good is that? McGregor is not a boxer. He's a fighter. Mayweather is not a fighter. He's a boxer. There are 2 different styles. And you've just taken half of McGregor's style off the mat. It's all hype. And now people are worried that it's going to be a big bust. It's going to be a big failure. You got to, and by the way, you got a bunch of, I guess Las Vegas is having a hard time. All the private jets. Who do you think's flying in? You're gonna see. You're probably gonna watch it, and they're gonna pan the audience, and you're gonna see star after star after star. Movie star and music star after star after star after star. Hype. It's all hype. And hype rarely lives up to the hype, or the reality rarely lives up to the hype. Rarely. In fact, usually when it does live up to the hype, everybody's shocked and surprised. So the president isn't out there hyping the storm, but he's giving people information of where they need to go to get the proper information that they need from the federal government. The state government is issuing information that people need to know where to go for assistance and shelter within the state. The local governments are doing their jobs by telling people, where the shelters are, how to get there, when they should go for those shelters if they're planning on leaving. But the president is the one being blamed for not giving all of that information simply because the left wants to hype this storm. Disgusting.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came, defeat the would-be dictators, and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
I don't watch MMA. I know it's huge right now in the fighting sports world. It's huge. I don't watch it, so I don't follow it. I have seen some matches. Yes, I've seen them on. I've never been to one in person. Never been to a live event, but I have seen a few fights on TV, and I do know some of the fighters, some of the more famous ones. I guess I know who they are, or who they were. These guys are beasts. I have no idea who would want to do that kind of. That's not sport, man. As far as I'm concerned, it's brutal. It is really. I have seen. No, they're not trying to, but I have seen people get their arms and legs broken. Well, I mean, it's like football. Sometimes these brutal hits happen and things break. But these and they don't have the same types of gloves that boxers have. So I don't know how they're going to even this out. Because boxers, they have these big padded gloves. MMA fighters, it's very minimal padded gloves. They're like they don't even have. Their fingers are free, so they can grapple. Because you can't grapple with standard boxing gloves. That's not happening. Boxers have their hands taped up so much, so it reduces stress on. It's kind of funny. It reduces the stress on the hands and the knuckles, so they don't hurt themselves from all the punching that they do. But MMA guys, it's almost bare knuckles. So I don't now when you're training and you're used to being hit by somebody with a padded. Now trust me, I've been hit with a boxing glove. It's no fun. It has some weight to it and it has some sting. Let's put it that way. It'll shock you if you're not used to it. But I've also been hit with a bare knuckle before. And I'd much rather get hit with that big, fluffy boxing glove than somebody's bare knuckle. And that's what MMA basically utilizes. But these guys are brutal. But again, half of his his technique, McGregor's technique, is taken off the table. This is what I hear. I don't know all the rules that they've set down for this because I haven't really paid that much attention to it. But from what I understand, McGregor cannot use any leg moves, so in other words, he can't do any sweeps or kicks or anything like that. He can't do any wrestle moves, so he can't jump on top of Mayweather and pummel him to the ground and go to a ground game, and so it's just strictly going to be two guys punching it out. But it's kind of there. Does anybody remember who was it? Muhammad Ali fought a wrestler. Anybody remember? That was a debacle from what people say that saw that. That was terrible. I don't know how it has to be staged. And there are people saying that, there are a lot of people are saying that McGregor's going to knock out Mayweather. And it's highly possible because Mayweather doesn't have an iron jaw like Iron Mike Tyson had at his heyday. You could punch Mike in his heyday and he'd just sort of smile at you and laugh. Sometimes it just made him madder. You didn't want Iron Mike mad at you. Who knows? I still won't be watching, but if you will, have fun.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever-popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. you can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding, or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And thank you so much. I'm glad that you are here. Welcome to Friday.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, indeed, it is Friday, August number 25 in the year of our Lord 2017. And you know what we like to do on Fridays. We like to take things a little bit lighter as we slide on into the weekend celebrating our gaining freedom. The number that you can call to talk about just about anything is 603-835-3226. That is the call-in hotline. As we move on into the second hour here, again, glad that you are here. Anything on your mind? It doesn't have to be politics. It doesn't have to be about President Trump either. Yes, indeed. Could be about just about anything. Just keep it clean, please. Going to go through the paper pile this morning. Yeah. Did you? I didn't know this. I guess I'm behind the times. And, well, I mean, a dirty little secret is, you know, back when I was a teenager, before I was exited college, before I was 21, for a couple of years, between 18 and 21, I in Syracuse, New York, I was a male model, or at least I tried to be. But it wasn't really being a male model. I was trying to be an actor. I thought I wanted to do some acting. And I did a couple of catalogs, local catalogs. I remember one highly embarrassed. I can't find any of those pictures, thank God, but I'm sure somebody has them. I did a tie-dye catalog. Yeah, I look like a Jimi Hendrix nightmare. Head to toe. Even the sneakers that they had that I modeled were tie-dyed. I looked ridiculous, but that was in style back then. I did a couple of local TV commercials, and, you know, I remember doing one for the county, and when they were starting this whole hype about recycling. They called it Operation Separation. Did a couple of commercials for that to promote that. There was a grocery store chain called PNC Foods. Did a couple of commercials for them. I remember one time they were telling us, you know, we're going to do a beach commercial. So you have to have you know, new beach clothes. You know, shorts and t-shirts, things, and you got to have, you know, a number of changes for all the different scenes that we're going to do. And that was the case. There was I think we're going to play volleyball, you know, pretend to play volleyball, that kind of stuff, and sit on the beach and lounge. And so what I did, none of us had this stuff. So what I did is I went to two department stores. One was called Hills. Hills was a discount department store, much like a kind of a lower end Sears, I guess, of the day, upper end Kmart, and Macy's. And I bought a wardrobe. Yeah, I bought the, and I had a pair, and I bought this pair of swimming trunks at the time, great swimming trunks. So I actually got this because we were in the water too. So I actually got the swimming trunks wet. After the commercial shoot, I returned everything except for the swimming trunks. And I think that's what all of us models did, because we got paid jack for doing those. And it took them 6 months to pay us. We didn't get our checks until 6 months later. I mean, it was ridiculous. And so another that was one thing that turned me off to that whole industry. Another one was, I went and I auditioned for a couple of stage plays. I did a B movie, had a very small bit part in a B movie that was actually filmed in Atlanta, Georgia, and in Syracuse, New York. And it came to Syracuse, New York, because that's where the writer, director, and star grew up. He grew up in Syracuse. So I was a part of that, and just dealing with those people, the fakery of it, I couldn't take it. I would hear them. I didn't hear them talk about me, but I knew that they were talking about me too, since I heard them talk about other people. And the nasty things that they said about some of the people that were auditioning. And so I just decided, no, I'm not doing this anymore. This is ridiculous. There's no way I'm going to move to New York City or L.A. or anything like that. And deal with this. If it's this bad here, it's got to be bad, even worse in those places. And as I later found out, it is a lot worse. But I bring it up because, you have to, if you're doing commercials or if you're doing a model shoot, you get makeup. You have people. Well, I mean, when I was doing, I had to. Another little secret here. I went to the Barbizon School of Modeling when I was 18 years old. Yeah. I don't remember how much I spent on that. It was like a year doing this crap. I think I still got that diploma somewhere in my junk memory chest someplace. I don't know. It's probably at my parents' house. But yeah, I went to Barbizon. And you learn how to do makeup. Put on your own, because, you're not going to have other people doing it for you, especially when you're first starting out. Now, the interesting thing is that when we did the TV commercials, yes, they did have a makeup artist there. And, we had to put on makeup. I was not comfortable with that. I always thought, well, this is just for girls. This is for women. No. Because of the camera and the lighting, all that kind of stuff, you got to do certain kinds of makeup. Okay, and for guys, it's really about keeping down the oily shine if you have oily skin and hiding your 5 o'clock shadow, because some guys, even after just after they shave, they still have a 5 o'clock shadow. Well, that doesn't work for TV commercials unless you're doing commercial on it has to do with beards or something. But it doesn't work for TV commercials, and it doesn't work for modeling shoots. So you got to get rid of the shadow. So you got to use makeup. So that was, now at that particular time, I didn't have a real issue because I couldn't grow a full beard until I was about 30. Yeah, I had one of those faces, late bloomers, I guess. But anyway, so we had to do makeup. Now, I never thought about actually wearing makeup on a regular basis. That's not what guys did. But then I got an education because I went and looked this up, because here's a story out of France. President Emmanuel Macron has spent nearly $20,000 US, or I guess it's more than that, because if you're looking at euros, it's probably a little bit more. But anyway, they're saying $20,000 so far since being in office on makeup for him, not his wife. Now, I know when Trump was in France, he commented on how fit Mrs. Macron is or was. And I'm seeing some close-ups of her lately, and I'm thinking, wow. The first thing that comes to mind, anybody remember the cartoon feature movie, The Emperor's New Groove. Yeah. The character Yzma. Now, I'm not trying to be mean, but yeah, she is very thin. She looks to be very fit. But she looks like Yzma. Sorry, she does. But so I would think, well, maybe the makeup's for her. Because, we've had American people that have overspent on makeup and overdolled on makeup. Remember Tammy Faye Baker? She's a poster child for wearing too much makeup. Huge makeup bill back in the 80s for her. So I thought, it was, Emmanuel's wife is spending, $20,000 on makeup. No, come to find out it's him. He spent 8,000 euros a month on makeup since becoming president of France. And now critics are wondering, well, what the hell does his wife spend if he's spending that much? Yes, President Macron has employed a mystery makeup artist known only as Natacha. Not Natasha, Natacha B. Natacha. Now, I thought, well, maybe it is pronounced Natasha, but no, I actually heard it pronounced. It's Natacha. Natacha B. She works before every public appearance of the French president, be it in a TV studio, in his the French still have a presidential palace. Yeah, I know. They got a lot of them. It's only natural that at least one of them be used for the president now, because they got a lot of beautiful palaces and castles and stuff in France. They've got a lot of history there, a lot of monarchy history, and they all tried to outdo each other with palaces and such. Versailles, anybody? But that's just one. Despite only being elected in May, Natacha has already put bills in for 24,000 euros. But he's not the only one. Evidently, former President Sarkozy and Hollande both spent huge sums on their looks as well. Now, I can't remember what Sarkozy looks like, but I can tell you Hollande was not a looker, so I don't know what he was spending makeup on. Now Macron, he's not a bad-looking guy. There are a lot of ladies. Yeah, he's the Justin Trudeau of France. By the way, so. And he's fairly, what is he, in his 40s? Mid-40s? So he's, politically speaking, he's fairly young, like Trudeau. Now, my question is, does Trudeau spend money on makeup artists to make him look better, too? I don't know. But evidently, there's this, I have mentioned this before, there is a rise in makeup for men. And there are numerous lines of makeup geared directly towards men. It's unbelievable. I remember, when makeup on men was, remember when goth was all the rage and emo? And boys, basically. Teenage boys and college boys, they would wear this dark eyeliner. So that was pretty much it was eyeliner pretty much. They'd wear, it didn't matter if they were blonde or not. They darkened their eyebrows jet black and their eyelashes and put the dark makeup around. It was ridiculous. It made them look gaunt, but I guess that was the look they were going for. But so that's what I remember male makeup being, just that. But there was nothing geared towards guys specifically. It was just, you want the goth look? This is the brand of makeup you have. Now there are numerous lines of makeup geared strictly for men because men have different skin composition than women. Oh, yeah. I guess we're different in that aspect too, huh? I just find it interesting that you have a vain president of France. Vanity in France. Go figure. And the problem is that you have some politicians or politicos. Now, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. Like the grandma who doesn't have any kids at all in Germany, who probably should be spending, $10,000 a month on makeup and doesn't. I'm just saying. But you have you have this French guy who's spending. Can you imagine if Trump were to spend that kind of money on makeup here in the United States? The left would have a fit.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
This lottery winner in the state of Massachusetts. Now, you got to understand the hype behind this. It was so bad how this came out. It really was bad. That the lottery drew the number, and at 2:30 in the morning on Thursday morning, they announced the winning numbers. Well, I guess it was at 1 in the morning. But at 2:30 in the morning, they announced where the person had bought the ticket. And they said that the ticket was purchased in a convenience store, basically, in Watertown, Massachusetts, which is just outside of Boston. But that's not where the winning ticket was bought. The reality is that the ticket was bought on the other side of the state. And they didn't correct their error until after 8 a.m. that morning. So you had all these news crews that headed out to this store in Watertown. I'm sure you had a bunch of people in Watertown thinking, what the hell? What are all these people, all these news people doing outside our store? And then the news came out that they corrected it. So can you imagine the tires screeching for them trying to get an hour and a half west? to Chicopee, Mass, where the ticket was actually sold. Now, the Chicopee store is only now. Understand that the ticket is worth $758.7 million, and the winning store, if you know, the winning store being the store where the winning ticket was sold, is getting $50,000. Now, the owner of the store, of the gas station convenience store, is saying that they're going to donate that $50,000 to local charities. Well, good for them. It's a windfall for them, and he's being kind enough to distribute it, and I have no doubt that he will, that the owner will. But it was $758.7 million. Is the largest grand prize won by a single lottery ticket holder in U.S. history. And this was a Powerball thing. Evidently, there were some other up to 49 or 50 other winners who got 5 of the 6 numbers correct, and they each won $1 million. That's not too shabby either for coming in second. But the person who won it then comes out the very same day that the numbers are released, which is why I say it's really odd. I mean, most lottery winners of grand prize lottery winners don't come out and grab their winnings in less than 24 hours of winning the grand prize. They a lot of them have to process it first. Some of them, if they're smart, they get their legal and financial team in place, and that could take a week or two or more, depending on how much money you're winning. I mean, you're winning $700 million here. That's not chump change. That puts you in celebrity category as far as net worth. Now, this is a woman. She's a mother of 2. She's 53. And she worked at the Chicopee Hospital. No, she calls in the same day to her hospital and quits. Okay. I understand. Maybe you don't like your job enough to work at it even after you're financially secure. I get a lot of people would quit their job and do something that really turns them on. But they usually don't do it the same day that they win the ticket, that they win the prize. In less than 24 hours of announcement, she was quitting. She was giving a press conference. She didn't even take the time to privatize her life. That's another thing that lottery winners do, is they take the time to privatize their life because they don't want a bunch of people coming around. She hasn't even done that yet, which is really kind of a... Now, I'm not saying that she didn't win it. I'm not saying that she's trying to pull a fast one. I just say that there's just something odd about it. Honestly, there's just something odd about her. Now, evidently she's married, but her husband wasn't with her. Her husband was with her when she realized that she won, but he wasn't with her at the meet and greet, which is really kind of weird. I guess money makes people funny to a certain degree, but I don't get it. But there's just something seems to be off, and when usually you get the feeling that something is off, at least when I do, when I get the feeling that something's off, I'm usually right. And I caught the news clip of her little press conference there, and there's just something about her that's really, really... I wouldn't be surprised. No, I shouldn't say this. You'd probably get sued for saying it, but evidently she's a nurse. You know where I'm going with this. I'm just saying she's got that look. To me, she does. There's just something off and odd about her. And, good luck to her. I'm happy for her. I don't play the lottery, so I can't possibly be jealous. I mean, if I play the lottery like a lot of people do and never won, then I might be jealous. But I don't play the lottery, so I don't really care. I just find it's dangerous when people win this kind of money because it's replete with people going bankrupt and losing it all within 7 to 10 years. That's a fact. Good luck to her. Call Rod now. 666-603-835-3226.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. the families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
603-835-3226. Welcome back. This Hurricane Harvey, well, it's not a hurricane yet. It's Tropical Storm Harvey. Here are the details, the rational details, minus the hype details of this storm. Now, first, let me say, I don't want to be construed or being said of me that I'm not giving people the proper information that they need. Now, Harvey, whether or not it becomes a major hurricane or not, and fulfills its destiny of being the first hurricane to hit, make landfall in the continental U.S. in nearly 12 years, understand that even this type of a tropical storm, even if it just remains a tropical storm, is going to bring a lot of rain to an area that isn't used to handling such rainfall. Up to, depending on who you talk to, it's 20 to 30 inches of rain could fall. But they're saying, what they're saying is that, a lot of flooding could happen. So, here's the deal. If you're in the path of Harvey, which is supposed to make landfall sometime tonight, later tonight or tomorrow morning, is do what you need to do to secure your property and your belongings, and then get out of Dodge. You should evacuate. Now, if you haven't done all of that already, then you're behind the eight ball, and you're probably going to get, locked up in traffic jams. So it's still pretty early out there in Texas. Are they 2 hours behind? Hour behind? Me here on the East Coast here. So it was around. It's just after 9:30 a.m. You got time. Leave work, or don't go to work, and get yourself and your family out of the area. Or get to some place high ground and safe if you're in a lower lying area. It's too late to place the sandbags because that's going to take you hours. You don't have that kind of time. But you can make sure that all your belongings are secured. I know some people, if they're in lower lying areas, they may put some of their furniture or their more valuable stuff on blocks or something in case there's flooding. It's just good to be prepared. And you should have been, preparing already. So now's the time to lock everything down, lock everything up, close everything up, and leave. Or get to someplace safe. If you are in a higher ground and in someplace safe, then don't clog the highways. Don't participate in clogging the highways and byways because people in lower lying areas are trying to get out. This is typical stuff that you get from the government anyway. So they're expecting, they're expecting Harvey, which is right now in the Gulf, and they've already closed down, locked down, clamped down all the oil rigs, offshore oil rigs in the area. And so you should take heed to that. But the storm is expected to hit the coast, Texas coast, sometime approach the coast and make landfall sometime later tonight or early Saturday morning. And they're expecting it to be Category 3, which is winds of 110, 111 miles per hour up to 129, 130 miles per hour. So it's going to be windy. In any case, even if it doesn't become a Hurricane 3, if it only gets up to Category 1 or 2, it's still going to be very windy, and there's going to be a lot of rain with that, and they're expecting the storm to stall which is why it's going to dump that much rain. Now, Texas is like California. Parts of Texas went through a drought too, right? So the ground is thirsty, yeah, but it's not going to be, because it is so dry, it's not going to be able to absorb that water quickly. There's going to be a lot of runoff, a lot of flash flooding. If the amount of rain falls that they're predicting. And this is the non-hype stuff, folks. It's a serious storm. And you really should pay it, even if it's just a tropical storm, it is something that you should pay attention to and not throw a hurricane party over. Just saying. So I've done my due diligence for today and warned people and given them the information that they may need. You know, go to your local government websites, go to the federal government websites that are geared towards disasters to get the information you need on where to go, how to go, what to do to prepare, all that kind of stuff. Don't run out to your grocery store. Your grocery store shelves for the stuff that you're looking for anyway, like certain canned goods and water, they're probably out. So just get out. Everything, if it's not so bad, then everything's going to be there when you get back. You're not going to be able to protect your stuff from a storm if you're there. But what you will do is probably cause rescuers to risk their lives to try to save your butt. And that's a bad thing. So get out. Put down, if you're listening to the program, stop listening to this program, and, well, you can you can listen to the program on your cell phone. So you don't have to stop listening, but just get out. If you're in the path. If you're not in the path, then stop worrying. Well, I mean, look, they always give wide predictions of areas where the storm could, because they don't know exactly where it's going to go. They have a general idea, but they don't ever really know. A lot of things happen that affect the course of a storm. One of the things that's very difficult, they do their best to predict, but one of the things that's hard to predict is other weather patterns that pop up. Or the jet stream may all of a sudden unpredictably change course, which has done that in the past, and change the trajectory of storms. But if you're not in the general path, then don't worry and don't make a mess for other people who are in the path. Stay out of their way. Don't try going into the area that could be potentially affected. Some people do that. Well, I just want to help. No, you know what? Let the professionals handle it. You stay out of the way. Honestly. Because they try to coordinate as best they can in these disasters to get help to people and property that needs it. And amateurs coming in thinking that they can, well, the government doesn't know how to do it, but I do. You only cause trouble and problems, and then a lot of times end up being the ones needing to be rescued. So stay out. Really. Speaking of staying out, Mayor Potentate Bill de Blusterous, that's Bill de Blasio for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda, says that he may remove the statue of Christopher Columbus in New York City as part of an effort to remove, and I quote, symbols of hate. Now Christopher Columbus is a symbol of ultimate hate. You know, like Jefferson Davis and Robert E. Lee. We know Robert E. Lee is a symbol of massive ultimate hate because anybody who's named Robert Lee should be ashamed of themselves. Really. I wonder if there's anybody else out there named Jefferson Davis. I'm sure there are. But I'm sure they probably go by Jeff Davis. But people are going to put two and two together. And anybody else who shares a name that is similar to any of these Confederate historical figures, they're all going to be lambasted somehow. Like this Asian. Now, last time I checked, Robert E. Lee was a Western European descent. In other words, he was a white guy. But this Robert Lee is a complete Asian, probably 100% of Chinese descent, considering that Lee is usually a Chinese last name. Now, I don't know his actual ethnic background, but it's irrelevant. You look at the man and you realize that he is Asian, probably 100%. But they pulled him from ESPN because his name is Robert Lee, not Robert E. Lee. I don't even know what his middle initial is, or even if he has a middle name. So they pull him because his name is a symbol of hate, obviously, according to the left. So now Christopher Columbus is an ultimate symbol of evil and hate. And in order to appease the left, the ultra left wing of his base, he's thinking about having the statue of Christopher Columbus in New York City removed. Now, the New York City mayor is weighing a decision on whether to remove the statue of Italian explorer Christopher Columbus, who, by the way, was sponsored financially by the Spanish, not the Italians. So don't hold the Italian government of the day responsible. It was the Spanish government of the day that's responsible for his journey westward. Now, this review is coming shortly after the deadly Charlottesville rally. Now, deadly. I mean, you would think that if you didn't know exactly what happened, that there were a lot of people that were killed. One person was run over. Now, I'm not making light of the single death. I mean, that's a tragedy. It never should have happened. But to make this sound like it was some mass tragedy is beyond the pale. So now you got to also understand that de Blasio is also running for re-election this November. New York City, are you paying attention to this? This guy has been a disaster for your city. Now, this Christopher Columbus statue is over 100 years. It's been there for over a century. Really, it's been there for over a century. Now, the reason why Christopher Columbus is now viewed by the left as being an extreme symbol of hate is because of his legacy. Now, his legacy is tarnished due to his participation in the slave trade and his cruel treatment of native inhabitants. Now, of course, there are obviously people who oppose removing the statue. And, of course, they're probably going to be construed and being considered as being neo-Nazis who support Trump. I just prefer to believe that they're just people who are trying to preserve accurate history. Now, let's be honest here, as I always am with you. Now, Columbus was at the time, a brave, courageous explorer. Now, some people believe he didn't know where he was going. And some people believe that he did know where he was going. In any case, yes, his history is mixed. He wasn't always, if you actually look at his history, his writings, people who wrote about him, he wasn't as evil to the native population as some on the left would have you believe. Part of the problem is that obviously there were diseases in Europe that were not here. Now, these folks didn't know about transference of diseases and stuff back then, and perfect hygiene. And so things like the chicken pox and the measles devastated the native peoples who had absolutely no immunity to such European diseases. Now that's being lumped in with his cruelty, as if Christopher Columbus knew that he was going to do germ warfare, biological warfare on the native peoples. He knew. He should have known, Rod. He played the biological warfare card. And to say that he participated in the slave trade is just say, well, he was one of the rare. Just about everybody in that particular era participated in some sort of slave trade. Not just black Africans were involved or were the slaves. There were many people. Many ethnicities were slaves. Slavery was huge. It had been for centuries before that. I mean, hell, didn't we used to teach kids that the pyramids in Egypt were built by slaves? So it's nothing new. I don't know how that tarnishes his reputation. He was only doing what, if he was participating, he was only doing what was the norm of the day. But, since he didn't stand up against slavery, then that makes him an evil person. Okay. It's a stupid reason or excuse that you're coming up with. But to try to erase him from history is trying to erase what actually happened in history. And I don't think Christopher Columbus should be taken down, statues or monuments of Christopher Columbus should be taken down anywhere in this country. He should not be removed at all. As a matter of fact, more should be taught about him, because there's more to him than just accidentally discovering the West Indies. There's a lot more. And the problem is that you got a bunch of people on the left who don't even want to teach that. Because they have this narrative that, well, if you're for Christopher Columbus or any white European from back in that day, then you were for slavery. And you're for slavery today. It's just ridiculous. The utter sheer ignorance and stupidity of the left is on high display today when it comes to history.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message. A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. There's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
Lindsey Graham, Lindsey Graham is back in the news. Now, I know some people are saying, yeah, who cares about Lindsey Graham? But Lindsey Graham is actually, whether he realizes or not, is actually giving the president a compliment. Now, understand that Lindsey Graham is not a fan of Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, in any shape or form. You know, everybody remembers what happened during the primary. Wasn't it Trump that gave out Lindsey Graham's cell phone number, and then Graham, every once in a while he's an okay guy. He did a video showing himself destroying his phone. He can be funny sometimes. He can be normal sometimes. There are rare occasions when he actually acts like he's a conservative, not a moderate or a liberal. But here's the question. What's he doing now? Because he's complimenting the president. He said there's a method to the president's madness. Lindsey Graham says that Trump's fights with Congress are well thought out strategy, and there's nothing crazy about it. The Republican senator who's been on the receiving end of Trump's ire says president's slaps at Congress are part of a clear strategy. Now, of course, Graham won't go so far as to say it's a smart strategy, but he says there's nothing crazy about it. Now, he told a radio host, Hugh Hewitt, that Trump is punching down at Congress, which has far lower approval ratings than his own, which is true. And you talk about how bad the president's ratings are, but nobody on the left talks about Congress's ratings are even lower. The Congress is very unpopular, particularly with the Republican base, so there's nothing unhinged about the president's response to Congress. Now, Graham also said Trump should turn off cable TV news because the big three channels are echo chambers for specific political viewpoints, and they don't matter. And that's probably some wisdom there from Graham. Some actual help there for the president, actually. That's some good advice. He needs to stop paying attention to the lame street, but he's got to pay attention to the lame street media because this is the only way he's able to fight back. Honestly, because they're not going to tell the truth about the president and what he's doing. They're not going to tell the truth about anything. So Graham is out there saying, look, hey, this is, I don't think that this is crazy and ad hoc stuff. This is a well thought out plan. I've always said that. The president, sometimes his tweets some of his tweets may come off as being off the handle. And sometimes, every once in a while I have a tweet that is riddled with typo errors. But what do people talk about? They talk about that. And then he comes back with another tweet that people are paying attention to then. And boom, he hits another home run. This is a well-thought-out process. I think Donald Trump has learned to play the political game so well that he's now doing it better than many of those who've been in politics for decades.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along?
Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back?
Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer?
With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95.
I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me. My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. It's Rod Eccles.
And welcome back, hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show on this Friday morning.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, Freedom Friday, where just about anything goes. Lines are open, 603-835-3226. We'll talk about just about anything that's on your mind today. That's been on your mind all week, all month, all year so far, if you want. It's a day that we take things a little bit lighter and slide on into the weekend, celebrating, trying to gain back some of the freedom that we have lost over the years, thanks to the current president, number 45, Donald J. Trump. Yes, indeedy. By the way, there is a story out there, speaking of the president, that his childhood home, the house where he was raised as a little Trump, in Brooklyn, I think, Queens, somewhere in New York City, is on Airbnb. Yeah, some enterprising person, slumlord actually, bought the property, bought the house. I don't know why. Trump doesn't want it. None of his siblings wanted it either, I guess. But it was sold. I don't know how many times it's been sold since his mother and father owned it. But the current owner purchased it strictly for Airbnb. You know, hey, look, you want to stay in New York City in the current president's childhood home? I mean, it's not in a bad neighborhood. It's a nice neighborhood in Queens or Brooklyn. Thank you, CS, Queens. Yeah, because his dad made his money building low-income housing and mid-level housing, tenements and stuff in Queens and Brooklyn. He stayed out of Manhattan. But evidently it's on it's on Airbnb. But a reporter actually booked it, and evidently it's now obviously they made it clear that Trump doesn't own the property, and I'm surprised they did that because evidently it was rather filthy. It wasn't cleaned when he arrived. The beds were not made. The sheets were not changed. There are bunk beds in one of the children's bedrooms. The TV doesn't work because there's a cable box next to the TV, and it's not even attached or plugged in, not even a power cord. Now, I don't know if any of this stuff was staged or not, but and the gas doesn't work and for the stove, so he couldn't cook anything, and there was something wrong with the hot water system because there was no hot water. So I'm it's really kind of interesting that they would that somebody would do that, and then it's got to be a leftist. Somebody has to have bought the house to show what a slumlord the Trumps are. Really. Who would do that? You buy a property and you're putting it up on Airbnb. That's the quickest way to get you removed from these types of websites and services like Airbnb. There's more than just Airbnb, but it's just ridiculous what these just reporting this stuff. But again, the interesting thing is that the reporter on this, and I don't know if he's probably going to get in trouble for doing this, but he made clear that evidently the current owner is not a Trump family member, and thus is not Donald Trump. Let's see, we got CS calling in on Friday morning here. Good morning, CS. What's going on?
Good morning, Rod. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored as usual.
Grooviness as usual. I just wanted to call in and give you and the listeners an update. Have you ever heard of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League?
Yes.
Okay. And they are a very reputable organization.
Yes, they are.
Exceedingly reputable. Well, you know how all these Antifa guys and all these snowflakes and all these other people running around saying, everybody that voted for Trump, they're just a bunch of racists. They're members of the Klan. Well, I'm about to burst that bubble right here and right now. And we all know that this is not really a big secret, that not everybody that voted for Trump is a racist. But now the ADL last year, 2016, had put out a report, and it's called Tattered Roads, State of the KKK. Now, roughly 63 million Americans had voted for Donald Trump. So what these organizations are saying or insinuating is that everybody that voted for Donald Trump is in the Klan, a white supremacist, or just a racist. According to this report, and I will read from the paragraph, directly from the paragraph, despite the diminishing numbers, there are still approximately 3,000 Klan members nationwide.
Yeah, they claim that there's 3,000. I've heard some other numbers saying there's 100,000. I don't believe there's 100,000, but 3 to 5,000 is the majority number that I've heard about the KKK.
Now, there are breakaway groups from the KKK that feel that the KKK isn't as drastic as they should be. Well, here's a number on that one. Well, not really a number, but this describes that other Klan groups are smaller still, often considerably smaller. So what we're basically saying is that 5,000 people put the president in office. It only took 5,000 people.
There is no way that they can be effectual in any type of political system. Not even in most local or municipalities across the country, because their numbers are so few. And there is, funny you should mention that, because I had a report here who was talking about racism in America today, and people in these extreme type of racist groups, and this includes the new Black Panthers, by the way, that the number of people that belong to these so-called extreme racist groups number less than total across this country of 100,000 people. So you've got people,
really
320 million people, and you got less than 100,000 in all of these different so-called racist groups out there that are labeled racist groups. There's no way in hell they can affect any election.
Well, first of all, I mean, if we go with the Klan and the Klan breakaways, 5,000. That's not enough. That's not enough to elect a trash man or a dog catcher. You can't even elect one of those positions with that smaller number. Now, with that being said, then you turn around and what you're insinuating is that all of a sudden, the state of Wisconsin, the state of Michigan, the state of Florida, the state of Pennsylvania, states that heavily went Obama, not once, but twice, all of a sudden, overnight, just got inundated with racists. Flooded with racists.
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden, in less than 6 months, suddenly, all these little races just started popping up, blooming everywhere, just growing like flowers, like wildflowers, fully grown, age of 18 and able to vote all of a sudden. That's something out of a horror movie. I mean, the asinine concept, and this report has been ignored and continues to be ignored. This is an extremely reputable organization that is being ignored by the mainstream media. These numbers are just completely collecting dust, cobwebs, neglected because of the desire to push the narrative that everybody that voted for President Trump is a racist in one way or another. Not that they agree about better jobs, not that they agree about border security, not that they agree in law enforcement, not that they agree with him on any other myriad of things that he's trying to push through. No, it's got to because he's a racist.
Yeah, and this is a
Rod Eccles,
new narrative from about Trump from these people, because now you got to remember, before he jumped into politics, presidential politics, Trump was a hero to the left, including people. He was often seen pictured with people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton for his work that he did in the minority community, and
yes, he was.
And he's also been very adamant when he was doing The Apprentice. It was very clear the man was not racist. He only wanted the best person for the position. And a couple of times, the black person won. I don't understand. Well, I do understand where they're coming from now, because they just don't like him, because now he's landed on the conservative side, not the liberal side. And he's defeated their queen bee, Hillary Clinton. That's the big thing. You don't do that to the left. They're not allowed to lose anymore. Ever since Obama won, the left is not allowed to lose. And this is just ridiculous.
It's like, then they have the audacity to say, Rod Eccles, you are a white supremacist.
Yeah, I
find
it interesting. Yeah,
Ben Carson, you are a white supremacist. Oh, you Latinos for Trump? Yes, you are all white supremacists. You were a person of color before you voted for him, but now, and you know what? That term just really irritates me. Person of color. You're not freaking laundry. You're a human being. So you were a person of color, but now you're a white supremacist. I mean, it's like you're going to change the outcome to fit the narrative. That's not how it works.
Well, that's
not how it works.
That's how it always works for the left. I mean, look, here's a story here from the Daily Caller. Now, Antifa should be labeled a terrorist organization. Evidently, they're trying to raise money to put a new cell And they're calling it a cell. Antifa's calling it a cell. What's a cell? Terrorists. We call terrorist cells, cells. Terror group cells. Well, they're trying to put a cell in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. They're calling for property seizures, violence on police, and all-out revolution, and they want to arm themselves. Now, first of all, I think that's hilarious at first, that these anti-gun people want to now have guns and arm themselves up. They don't even know how to... I'm more worried that they're going to shoot themselves than anybody else.
Shit. I got no problem with that. Have at it.
But where is... You want to talk about hate... Why aren't they being called out on the mat, CS, for their hate, their obvious hate against men and women in blue, police officers? Now, granted, police are human too. They're not all perfect, but the number of bad cops, bad apples in the police departments across this country is a very, 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 very small number, and it's no different from any other profession. There are bad seeds in every profession, granted. But the vast, vast majority of them are good, hardworking, honest people, trying to do the best that they can with the rules of engagement that each of them have in their various departments. So what is this with calling on harming police? That's not hatred simply because a person puts on a certain type of uniform? How about this so-called all-out revolution and taking people's property? Hardworking people who've earned it. Confiscating for what reason? Because you don't like them?
Let's put it like this. There's this little inner circle of Antifa, hardcore Antifa. These are individuals that were avid supporters of Bernie Sanders. They were avid. I mean, they loved him. They went to the bat for him. They beat the crap out of somebody just for Bernie Sanders. That's that little center hardcore group, and they're angry. They are infuriated. They are enraged that Bernie is not the president. They're angry because Bernie offered them free college, which was a mistake. That's not going to work. He offered them free health insurance, free money, free this, free that. He offered them everything free under the sun. And Bernie Sanders did not win. So who are they going to go after? The winner, not the group or the people that were involved in stabbing him in the back, and not going after Bernie because he stabs them in the back. Bernie got stabbed. Bernie turns around and stabs them. How do I say this? Or why do I say this, I should say? Because right after the election, all of a sudden, here's Bernie Sanders. I'm going to go buy a house on a lake. That's right. It's a $600,000 house, and it's mine. Really? That's your third one. When are you going to share it with these people that follow you? When are you going to go and stick to your socialist values and share your wealth with the common folk, the little man? Oh, yeah, that's never going to happen. So these guys are really angry that Bernie did not win, so they're taking it out on the winner, not on the Democratic Party, not on Hillary Clinton, and in the end, Bernie Sanders himself. They're going to take it out on Donald Trump. But even before this happened, during the election, during the primaries, he's a misogynist. He's a sexist. Well, that basically pretty much fell apart real quick. Oh, well, you can't trust him with the new code. You can't trust him with it. All that fell apart. Then we go to the Russian narrative. That fell apart. Notice, we're not talking about that anymore. Now, are we? No. Now here's the new one. He's mentally imbalanced. Okay. All these pundits that are on television describing how mentally imbalanced the President of the United States is, here's my question to them. Can you please show me your medical degree? Can you show me your degree in psychology or psychiatry? Because if you can't, then you have no place to speak of anything. Now, if they turn around and say, well, you don't need a degree to recognize crazy. No, but obviously you're too stupid to remember the saying, there's a time and a place for everything. He gave a speech in front of military personnel. He was somber. He was serious. He was respectful because maybe he respected the individuals that were sitting in front of him and listening to him. Then he has a big rally, and he goes nuts. Well, you know what? Most politicians take off their jacket, roll up their sleeves, undo their tie, and say, hey, I'm one of you. Look at me. I'm dressed to get ready to go to work. My sleeves are rolled up. Let's get busy. No, Donald Trump doesn't do that. Donald Trump just talks like everyday, hardworking Americans do in this country. That was the time and place for that talk.
That's not presidential to do that, though. Don't you know that? You have to be measured and steady. You got to be a big phony. Donald Trump is. Well, I mean, you may be able to get away with calling Donald Trump a lot of things, but phony is definitely not one of them. And even the left knows that they can't call him a phony and get away with it. But
they can.
He's about as natural as anybody else is. I mean, can you? Can you imagine
you talk about phony?
Oh, there are adults.
Let's talk about his number one attacker, Ana Navarro. Ana Navarro, little Miss I'm a Republican strategist. Yeah, the same person who held three fundraiser for Bob Menendez, Democrat of New Jersey.
Yeah. Yes.
So let's talk about fake.
Can you imagine what they would say about if in an alternate universe I were to run for and win the presidency? Can you imagine what they'd say about me? Oh my God, it would be. I feel for Donald Trump in this regard, because I already know what people, even at my quote unquote low level, have said about me already. So I understand what he's going through, but it just makes my eyes open up even wider to the phoniness, the fakery that is on the left, the lies that they're willing to tell. It's like dealing with a bunch of Scientologists, to tell you the truth. And now that I've said that, I'm probably going to get this Church of Scientology to come down on me. So, I got to run for the break, my friend. Always good to talk to you.
All right, you guys have a great one and take care.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
What they do to the press. Well, it is what it is, folks. We'll be back.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement,
But now, there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
You know, sports is in the news right now with the Mayweather and McGregor fight coming up tomorrow. And I was asked recently about what I thought about Colin Kaepernick. My response was, I don't. But I got something to say about him when we get back. Don't go away.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Bring the rain.
603-835-3226. This group out there in Philly, this is some serious. This is some well, what's the term? FUBAR. This is some FUBAR stuff. Now, this armed group, this armed Antifa group, is launching a new cell in Philadelphia with the support of the alt media, the alt-left media. This group currently hosts anti-police workshops called Our Enemies in Blue. Evidently, the group draws its inspiration from convicted murderers and calls for violence against police, the theft of goods and property, and armed insurrection. Antifa websites like It's Going Down, Sub Media, and Insurrection News have been promoting the group, which calls itself the Revolutionary Abolitionist Movement. Do they have any idea what the word abolitionist really means, historically speaking? I don't think so, or else they wouldn't call themselves revolutionary abolitionist. Basically, they're calling on their readers to donate to a fundraiser account. That's fundraiser, that's spelled Fundrazr. I didn't know one of those donate online types of things. And the group even released a press release. They published a press release in the far-left media and is filled with hyperbolic claims about how mosques are being ruthlessly bombed and how LGBT are being battered. Well, not in this country. Mosques are being bombed overseas and in the Middle East where they're plentiful. The LGBTQ community is not being battered here in the US of A, but they're being killed over there. Unbelievable. And what about all this hate speech? Do you think if a so-called alt-right or extreme right group were to try to raise money on one of these fundraising sites, that they would actually be able to do it? Wouldn't they get shut down if they called for an armed insurrection? And if they were going to start a new cell someplace? Yeah, we're going to start a new cell because we hate the police and we hate this and we hate all these other types of groups. They'd be shut down. Wouldn't even get I don't know. Will they be able to keep it? Do they have a Facebook page, and will they be able to keep it, or will Zuck finally say no? And that's too radical even for us radicals on the left. We'll keep an eye on this one, folks. It's absolutely unbelievable. Look, I'm not surprised that they would do stuff like this. I'm not surprised that they're able to get away with it. I am a little surprised that in this day and age that more people on the right aren't rising up and saying, "Oh, hell no." But hey, it is what it is right now. Look, it is not Donald Trump who's splitting the nation and who's leading us into a quote unquote civil war. It's the left. Plain and simple. And there's nothing more evident about that when it comes to Colin Kaepernick. And people who support Colin Kaepernick with the other players within the NFL. You know, these are a bunch of pampered, overpaid millionaires playing a game. And you know, there is a time and a place to have. Look, this is what I got to say about Colin Kaepernick. If he actually believed half the stuff that he claims that he believes in, which is why he was protesting, sitting down, and kneeling during the national anthem, why doesn't he donate some of his vast newfound wealth to groups and organizations that he believes in, that he can stand by? He evidently has not been doing that, and neither have most of the other NFL players who've been doing the same thing. All you're doing is harming the NFL. And the NFL seems to be too stupid and too feckless to do anything about it. This is what you do to these players. Hey, you're a part of an organization. This is the organization. These are the employment rules. You will do this. If you don't, you're fired. You're not going to bring shame and discredit to a multi-billion-dollar organization. If I was an owner, there's no way in hell. This is why Kaepernick isn't being signed by anybody. Nobody wants to deal with that. But of course, they're going to claim that the NFL and the owners are all racist now because Colin Kaepernick, a black guy who's actually half white, was raised in a white household. But you know, hey, but he's all black power now, man. I understand to a degree, but people take out of context the national. And I just heard something about, well, the reason why Colin Kaepernick doesn't stand up for the national anthem is because in the third stanza, the third verse of the poem, there's mention of racism and slavery. Talking about taking it out of context, this is where people run into problems. You cannot justify your cause using today's terms and meanings on something that was written 200 years ago. Because back then, it meant something totally different. The language was different. The times were different. The economy as it was, the governments were different. Now, by today's standard, if you look at Christopher Columbus by today's standards, well, okay, you could call him a racist. He was involved in the slave trade, and that was bad, 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 bad. But in the day, it was the norm. It was the norm. It was normal. It was widely accepted. It's no different from the stuff that we widely accept today. Sometime in the future, there was going to be, 100, 200 years from now, there's probably going to be some college kids, a new Antifa group that's going to hate what we did today based on whatever the meaning is at that particular point in time in the future. You can't view history by today's standards, by today's meaning of language. You got to go back in time to how they lived and what they thought and what they felt and what the norms were and what the abnorms were and what the meanings of the words were then. It paints an entirely different picture when you do that. Now, Colin Kaepernick is guilty of one thing, of misconstruing and misinterpreting what the national anthem was about, based on today's meaning of the language that's written in the words that are written in the national anthem. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with the national anthem at all. Other than the fact that, it promotes patriotism. Oh my God, you cannot promote patriotism in the USA anymore. To be proud, to be a proud American. Oh, if you're a proud American, now you're a white nationalist. Oh yeah, you can't be a nationalist anymore. I mean, this is why people are, the group is also attacking Teddy Roosevelt of all people. He's a white nationalist. He was a patriot of the times of the day. Now, I'm sure if Teddy Roosevelt were alive today, he'd do things a little bit differently. But when he was president, when he was a Rough Rider back then, that is how things were expected to be done, and it wasn't construed as being mean, evil, wrong. It was what you did and how you did it. The whole world was that way. Not just Teddy Roosevelt. We tend to do this so much in the West. We view history not through the lens of historical perspective, but through the lens only of this rosy-colored utopia modern lens. It's like comparing apples and oranges. There is no comparison. I mean, this stuff is getting so bad that even now Dolly Parton has been lumped into the fray. Yes, here it is from Slate.com. And Slate has now gone ahead and said that this is remember a few years ago how we had the Arabic Spring? Well, now it's not springtime, but they're calling it the Confederacy Spring. Slate has termed it. It's now springtime for the Confederacy. And at Dolly Parton's Civil War-themed dinner theater in Dollywood, audiences root for the North or the South. And the writer of this piece, Aisha Harris, says she saw the play twice because she had to see it from both sides. So the same week that a statue of Robert E. Lee led to the death of an innocent woman in Charlottesville, Virginia, she says, I watched him oink and squeal in a race for the fate of the country. Lee this time was a piglet, part of Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede, a medieval times style dine-in attraction where 7 nights a week and at an occasional weekend matinee, the South rises again. This is why, HBO is already getting blowback from the left about their proposed new series after Game of Thrones is done, called Confederacy, where the South actually wins and the North loses. Oh, no. According to you can't even think of that. Well, what would happen if that did happen? Where would we be? Where would Antifa be? There would be no Antifa. I mean, it'd be an entirely different country. Well, it'd be 2 countries. It'd be an entirely different world. Not even sure we'd be 2 countries. The Germans might have won World War I. Forget World War II. And this whole second guessing and redefining history has got to stop. Sure, tell the whole historical story. I have no problem with that. But to just tell part of the story, not even half of it, just a small smidgen part of it, and then decide, well, these people have got to go. That's the same. That's what communists do. This whole Antifa group, they're not even socialists. They're communist. They're dictatorial communist. They think that they know what's best for you and me. And they're going to not only demand it, but but demand it in such a way where where the vast majority don't even have a choice. So it's not mob rule by mob or rule by majority. But just like in the days of old, it's ruled by the vast minority. That's what dictatorial states are like. The vast minority. That's what monarchies were like. The vast minority rules over the majority with an iron fist. The United States broke that chain. And we continue to break chains. We broke the chains of slavery. The United States getting rid of slavery was the death knell of slavery around the world, at least in a legal sense. If it wasn't for us, we'd probably still have slavery as a legal trade. And frankly, they're not even stopping there, folks. Oh, no. I mean, remember the old Redskin argument, the Washington Redskins? Well, now they have gone to the Great White North of the United States in the Great White North in Canada. The Edmonton Canadian Football League is called the Edmonton Eskimos. And I guess recently they've had to defend more than their top spot in the Canadian Football League standings this year. Their first 7-0 start to a season since 1961. I don't follow Canadian football, but the Edmonton Eskimos are dominating the Canadian Football League right now. But there have been calls of late, probably coming from south of the Canadian border, to change their name from Eskimos, because you don't call them Eskimos anymore. They're Inuits. Now, I don't know when Eskimo became a bad word. I don't know when that happened. But evidently the silliness is reaching up north into Canada, where the left is now demanding that this very, if they were still at the bottom of the heap, they probably wouldn't be even noticed. But evidently now that they're winning, they're 7-0 or 8-0 now. It's just they're a powerhouse football team in the Canadian Football League. Now people are paying attention, and now they've got to change their name. I mean, this is ridiculous. Well, at least it's happening in Canada now. Well, hey, Prime Minister Trudeau is already saying that the borders are kind of closed up there for all you refugees. You're still going to go through the process, even after he said, well, hey, if we're in the United States, we just let people come through. No wall on our southern border. Well, they may be thinking about one now.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong, and any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable Men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hayride.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable Men are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
TSA is back in the news. Yes, indeed. Now, anybody who listens to this program understands and knows that I'm not a big fan of the TSA in airports. But evidently, there's Trump. One thing I have a disagreement with Donald Trump is he hasn't reined in the TSA yet. There is a woman who's now coming forward because she's not getting any satisfaction complaining to the TSA. Her name is Jenna McFarlane. And she was on her way to visit a friend in Baltimore. She's from Charlotte. And one of her bags that she was putting through the carry-on baggage check set off an alarm, I guess, at TSA. So she had to go through a pat-down. She said the pat-down was done over a close. It was done in private. It was done over a close. And they thoroughly, she says, thoroughly explored my breast and crotch and buttocks, even to the point where the female TSA agent asked her to kept her asking her to spread her legs farther and farther apart and touched her, even her vagina, 4 times with the side of her hand. Now, is that necessary? Because you go through her bag. If there's nothing in the bag, then why would you bother checking the person? Especially that way. Look, I've been through that. It is degrading. It's maddening. It really pisses you off the way they do it. And they'll just, for crying out loud, it's because in my particular case, because evidently something went off where it says, well, you've tested positive for explosive ingredients. Find out it came from the soap that's in the airport bathroom. Yes. So, I mean, it's just the way it is. That they do this kind of stuff and that they're able to get away with some of this stuff like this is just absolutely insane. And it's not making us safer flying, folks. I mean, how many times have they done these TSA tests and found out that these people have let guns through during testing? And finally, today, Pelosi is at it again. Pelosi has said that Democrats have won every fight against Republicans. Well, she's reframing it. She's doing like the rest of the Democrat Party, that a loss is actually a win for the Democrats, because they don't lose as big as they originally thought that they were going to lose. So instead of losing by 15 points, they only lost by 7 or 10 points. So, and that's a win for the Democrats somehow. The Republican Party is in such disarray right now, crisis after crisis, she says. And most of those crises that come about are simply because of her and her party making stuff up. The Russia thing. I don't know how many times that they've even said it themselves when they're asked, do you have any evidence of Russia, Trump collusion? Nope. None. Not at this time. But hey, they can't win to save their lives, literally, and yet they win. They've won every fight against the Republicans. If they mean Obamacare, Well, there was never really a fight put up by the Republicans anyway in repealing that. So I guess that's a victory for the Democrats. Fast 3 hours indeed. The sound means we're out of time for not only for today but for the week. So have a great weekend. We'll be back here on Monday for the final full week of summer 2017. It's going to be a hot one here. So glad that you have been here with me. Glad you're listening. Spread the word. Until then, I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled. And you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.